How's it going, everybody? C-RadTV back here with another video. So, of course, it is time for another NFL draft preview. So, in the last draft preview, we focused on the top day 2 defensive lineman prospects for rounds 2 and 3. In this video, we're going to be focusing on the top day 2 linebacking prospects. So we're going to revisit the linebacking video from round 1, and we're going to focus on some more prospects, since the first one only focused on 3 for round 1. This one, we're going to look at the top linebacking prospects for rounds 2 and 3. And yes, there's more than 3 this time. So this is going to be a longer one than the last one. But yeah, anyway, enough talk. Let's go ahead. Let's just jump right into it. So to start off here, we're going to look at all the insider linebacker prospects first. So the first one we're going to look over, hailing out of Texas Tech, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 240 pounds, we have Jordan Brooks. So for Jordan's strengths, he's compact, he's heavily muscled frame, he has instinctive and decisive, he shows the awareness and aggression expected for a 4-year highly productive starter. He's a quality athlete, has impressive agility, quickness, and acceleration to remain on the field for all 3 downs. Has good spatial awareness and body control to sift and slither his way through traffic. Makes plays at or behind the line of scrimmage. He's a reliable tackler. Packs a wallop. Generates knockdown power with its explosive speed and compact frame. Has good wrap-up technique to take ball carriers to the ground. He's also a high school track standout as well. Overall, for his college career, he led the Red Raiders in tackles as a freshman, junior, and a senior. So he led the team for 3 years. He's a focus playmaker. He's also a focal leader. He received all-conference notice all 4 years with Texas Tech. He finished strong in 2019, having 20 tackles for a loss. He was also a team captain in 2019. His last 4 years, he's had at least 84 tackles or more. For his weaknesses, though, he plays with blinders on. He usually gets sucked up in run support. So his part of that is his underdeveloped hand play to fight through the blocks. He usually gets locked up and forced to spin his way out. He also often sacrifices angles. He doesn't always play with that desired kamikaze attitude and his effort in pursuit. He throttles down too soon when the ball appears to be doing the other direction. He played in a linebacker-friendly scheme in 2019, which contributed to his career-high numbers. So, scheme's going to be a question. Can he work in a hybrid scheme or any other scheme? That's going to be the big question here going forward. For his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Mikael Kendricks of the Seattle Seahawks. So, very interesting prospect. If he can fit in a hybrid scheme, could be someone maybe to look at for sure. So, the next linebacker we're going to go over here, hailing out of California, standing 6'2", weighing 240 pounds, we have Evan Weaver. So, Evan, he's your prototype read and react inside linebacker, so he can read the play and react to it changing on the go. So for his strengths, he's superior key and diagnose skills. He plays faster and he's likely to be timed in workouts. He attacks the line of scrimmage like a running back. He has top spatial awareness and body control. Can squeeze in the lanes and bury interior runs. He's smooth to accelerate outside. Beats most backs to the perimeter with instincts. He utilizes long arms and heavy active hands. Rips free from blocks efficiently. He's unafraid of blockers in the hole. He tackles chest to chest. He's attentive and productive in coverage. Useful and experienced out of the blitz package. He utilizes his route awareness, length to knockaway passes. The last 2 years, he's had 11 passes blocked when he was targeted. He's surprisingly agility. He has flawless durability. He has had no known injuries or missed games dating to his high school days. So overall, though, in 2019, Weaver was the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. Also in 2019, he set the Pac-12 and the California University single-season record for most tackles in a season with 182 total tackles in a year, surpassing the 167 tackle record set by Hardy Nickerson. In the Red Box Bowl game, he had 9 tackles against Illinois in that game. He was one of 3 team captains for the California in 2019. Twice in Weaver's career, he's had a single game best of 22 tackles. And this year, with his impressive numbers, he averaged around 15 tackles a game. So he does leave with production numbers, but this is all despite not him starting full-time until his junior year, when he converted from defensive end in 2016. So for his weaknesses, he relies on instincts. He's not likely to dazzle in workouts. He shows just average point-to-point speed on tape. He's rarely asked to drop deep into man coverage. He pounces on backs and tight ends in the flat or shallow crossers that didn't expose limited change of direction speed. He's technically challenged as a pass rusher. He relies on simple bull rushes and tenacity to blow through would-be blockers on his way to the QB. His statistics, though, are inflated due to Cal's scheme funneling the action inside linebackers. So it's sort of like more of a scheme, but he made the most of it. All I say is, hey, for a scheme, it's like a glove. You either fit it or you don't. Very simple. For his NFL comparison, Weaver's been compared to Blake Martinez of the now New York Giants since he left the Packers during free agency. So, he has a lot of impressive numbers. He's a really good tackler. But can he translate that into pros? That's going to be the big question for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Wyoming, standing 6'2", weighing 240 pounds, we have Logan Wilson. So for Logan, he was one of those small school studs, so he was really killing it in the small school circuit. So for his strengths, he has a classic frame with broad shoulders, compact, muscled up frame, excellent weight distribution. He was a 4-year starter, has elite skills to see it and smash it. He typically running toward the ball off the snap. He trusts his eyes, doesn't take the bait often on play action or his screens or misdirection. He's a quality athlete. He was a wide receiver defensive back in high school. So very good initial on all directions. He has open intriguing options as a blitzer or in coverage. Take your pick, folks. He's eager to attack the line of scrimmage and run support. He defeats blocks consistently with long arms and accurate. Has heavy hands, balance, and overall athleticism. It shows up in the coverage. He's a reliable face-up tackler. He is also a high-effort player who takes smart angles. He had 49 career starts in college. So overall, he was a 2-time tackles leader for the Cowboys for Wyoming. He participated in the Senior Bowl in January, and he looked the part of a linebacker. Of course, as mentioned, he was also a defensive back in high school. He grew into his frame, and of course, 4-year starter at Wyoming, 3-time captain for him. Solid athlete, 3-down backer, played well in coverage. In his college career, he had 421 tackles with 10 interceptions and 14 pass breakups. So for his weaknesses, though, he's more of a technician than a terrorizer as a tackler for an inside backer. He only flashed true physicality, not the thumper his frame of production suggested, though. His tackling efficiency, but shows his average stopping power for an NFL linebacker. He only forced 4 fumbles at Wyoming, with only 1 over the last 2 years. He generally plays on the ball with his feet, but doesn't always break down well. So one of the things he's going to have to get better at is generating turnovers. He was able to get interceptions, but fumbles is also something that he's got to work on too. So he's fall back on his heel, and he misses easy tackles in close quarters. For his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Joe Schubert of the Cleveland Browns. So, very interesting prospect. Someone definitely to keep an eye on. So, yeah, someone definitely on the board for sure. So the next linebacker we're going to go over here, hailing out of Purdue, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 240 pounds, we have Marcus Bailey. So Marcus, he's your prototype pass rush blitz inside linebacker, so he's someone you can count on when you want to rush the passer and rush the QB and the blitz. So someone to look at there. For his strengths, he looks the part. He's a very technical tackler. He uses excellent form, drives through his target. He's also able to snag runners on the move. Still manages to drag them down. He's strong enough to take on blocks and not fold. He's a proficient inside linebacker. Could be functional as an outside linebacker if you want to be experimental with him and take a chance on that. He's a savvy player, rarely makes mental mistakes. He's great at keeping track of the ball's path in crowded areas. He's the heart of the defense for Purdue. He makes up for his athletic limitations with excellent positioning and coverage. He's disciplined and calm under pressure, so he doesn't take many stupid penalties. He's a simplistic blitzer, has enough power to threaten unprepared blockers. His hands are active when he has to take on blockers. His focus rarely wavers. He's a smart pathfinder pursuit. Overall, in his 5th year with Purdue, he was a co-captain for 2019. He recovered from a knee injury 3 games into his freshman year in 2015 to become a 4-year starter. So he does have some injury issues. Only to be lost for the year with a season-ending injury last September. So he's had some knee issues in the past. Is that going to be a problem? We'll have to see. He is a focused worker, and he's a driven athlete. Between his sophomore and his junior years with Purdue, he had a total of 204 tackles between those 2 years. So yeah, definitely very productive. For his weaknesses, though, he has an average tackling radius, and closing speed makes it hard to hunt down shifty guys in space. His injury history, like I just mentioned, that's a massive red flag, because he had not 1, but 2 knee surgeries. And he also had a hip surgery. So he's had 3 surgeries in college. So he doesn't have the ability to pick up guys in man coverage. So that's going to be an issue, since for the Lions, they mainly like to do man coverage defense and carry them upfield. He's not the greatest of lateral movers. He'll have a harder time dodging blocks in the NFL because of it. For his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Kendall Beckwith of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So yeah, the fact that he wouldn't really fit the scheme well, and the fact that he's had a lot of injury issues, I'm going to say pass on this one. I'm going to go pass with him. And the final inside linebacker we're going to go over in this video before we move on to the outside linebackers, we have hailing from the Ohio State University, standing 6'3", weighing 240 pounds, we have Malik Harrison. So for Malik's strengths, he's a prototypical size, has a chiseled V-shaped frame, long, rocked up arms. He's a former high school QB, and he was also a safety. He has freakish raw athleticism, including his above average straight line speed for the position. He's likely just scratching the surface of potential, so he has a lot more going forward. He can only get better from here. Has great bursts and sustained speed to beat backs to the edge. He has rare makeup speed. He plays quicker and more decisively as a senior. He's a creative tackler. He's capable of knocking down ball carriers. He does flash potential as a blitzer. He anchors well, and spins off blocks and erases gaps. So overall, he's a physical run defender, so he's good at stuffing the run. He can play outside or inside linebacker in the NFL, whatever you fancy. He was a starter his final 2 years for Ohio State. His career with Ohio State, he had 205 total tackles. His junior year for Ohio State, he had 81 tackles, which was tied for the team lead, and also was a big piece in leading Ohio State to the Big Ten championship. He doesn't view much as a natural in coverage, though he does show potential at the Senior Bowl, and he also had an interception in the Senior Bowl game. So yeah, definitely somebody that's definitely on the radar. For his weaknesses, though, he's not yet the sum of his parts, though. He has improved awareness with his experience, but he remains average in terms of overall instincts. There is some doubt he possesses the football IQ teams may expect from him on the inside. In run support or in coverage, too often it takes him a tick or two to locate the ball. He reads the action rather than reacts to it, so he's got to react better. He has tentative chopping his feet as he deciphers the action without locating the blockers. I mean, runs into the walls. He leaves little room to recover. He gets knocked off balance or into the ground. He is vulnerable to misdirection in play action and screen, so he may bite play action too much. So he too often takes the bait, leaves himself in trial positions. And keep in mind, for his experience, his first 26 games, the first couple years he was with Ohio State, he only had one start in that span until the last 2 years when he became a starter. For his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Devondre Campbell of the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, this is someone that really has a lot of potential. He might be just reaching his top and could be only going higher from here. You know, but I think since he did play in the Senior Bowl for Patricia in the Lions coaching staff, definitely will be someone the Lions will have on their draft board without a doubt for sure. So moving on to the outside linebackers, the first one we're going to look at here, hailing out of Alabama, standing 6'5", weighing 258 pounds, we have Terrell Lewis. So Terrell, he is your prototype explosion outside linebacker, so he's very explosive off the snap. So overall, for his strengths, he's a physical prototype of the modern outside linebacker, has a very well-built long limb frame, has light feet, excellent overall weight distribution, has easy athleticism apparent from the snap. He surprises with initial quickness to gain an immediate advantage on his opponents. He frequently is the first off the snap, rushing the passer when instant burst to cross the face of would-be blockers. Shut up, phone. He gobbles up ground with a long gait, an impressive change of direction to project as a difference maker edge rusher. I mean, he wasn't asked to run a lot of twists and stunts in his scheme with Alabama, but he could excel if featured in this role. I mean, he uses his lower half athleticism, has long arms and strong hands to rip, keeps himself free from blockers. His size and ease of movement also stands out when he drops in coverage. He shows balance, agility, easy athleticism to mere pass catchers. Has freakish athleticism and size combination, and his best football might be ahead of him, so he might be just scraping the start of his potential. So for Terrell, for overall, his injuries, though, it's an underlying theme in his career in the projection. He missed 10 games with an arm injury in 2017, sat out 2018 with a knee injury. Those were also sandwiched between 2 seasons where he showed flashes and sometimes prolonged of potential greatness. In 2016, he played as a reserve in 11 games, had only 1 sack, which was against Arkansas. This year for 2019, Terrell was second team All-SEC, and he was 9th in the conference with 6 sacks. He also had 11.5 tackles for a loss, and he led the team with 16 QB pressures. Overall, for his weaknesses, though, he's a player that looks like Tarzan but plays like Jane. So we have the player looks like Tarzan but plays like Jane cliche. He doesn't play up to his natural talent. He appears to throttle down far too often, especially when he sees the ball going away from him. He has too much standing around the pile, lets teammates do the dirty work for him, so he's got to step up and make the play himself. And like I just mentioned, he comes with a lot of medical concerns and red flags, so of course missed 10 games with the arm injury when he tore a ligament in his elbow. 2018, he missed all of that season with a knee injury, which was a torn ACL. In 2019, he opted to not participate in the final game for Alabama when he chose to sit out in the Citrus Bowl game against Michigan so he could focus and prepare on the 2020 NFL Draft. So for his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Tyrus Bowser of the Baltimore Ravens. So he's had a lot of injury issues. That's going to be the big concern here. For him to be effective, he's going to need to learn how to stay healthy. Plain and simple. Has a lot of upside. But can he stay healthy in the pros? That's going to be the big question for sure. So the next linebacker we're going to go over here, hailing out of Notre Dame, standing 6'4", weighing 240 pounds, we have Julian Okwara. So for Julian's strengths, he looks the part of an NFL edge rusher. He's broad-shouldered, has long arms, he has a tapered frame, and good overall weight distribution. He's effective running off either side of the ball. He times the snap well, shows steady acceleration, has intriguing core flexibility to wrap the corner. He uses long arms effectively to get a quick initial punch and frees himself to locate the ball. Has long arms and excellent hand-eye coordination to slither through to knock the ball out of the QB's hands. He had 4 forced fumbles with Notre Dame in his career. He has also developed pass rushing technique. He incorporates better hand placement and grip strength this year to complement his speed rush. Effective bull rusher, run anchors when he keeps his pads low and knees bent. Has good lateral agility to shuffle and extend the run wide. He's a coordinated athlete, does not look out of place when asked to drop back into coverage. He plays on the balls with his feet and changes direction smoothly. He also has good NFL bloodlines because his older brother Romeo is well known to the Detroit Lions fan base since Romeo is playing defensive end for the Detroit Lions. And Romeo also had a starring role at Notre Dame. And, Romeo's also a bit of a fan favorite, too. I don't know if you really call him a fan favorite or not. Take your pick on that one, folks. Julian, though, he was voted as the team captain in 2019. So, overall, like I just mentioned, captain of 2019, he was a 2-year starter for Notre Dame. His past 2 years, Julian has recorded 12 sacks. He's a rising talent, has a chance to sneak into the top 40 in the draft. So his stock continues to go up. He was born in Nigeria before him and his brother Romeo moved to the United States as a 3rd grader. Julian was a top 300 recruit coming out of high school. He is one of 9 true freshmen to play at least 8 games for Notre Dame in 2016. He was always in a rotational sub-package player with Notre Dame until his junior year when he got the starting job. In his junior year, he had 8 sacks, but in 2019, he was shelved after he suffered a foot injury. So yeah, the injury issues are a bit of a red flag. So for his weaknesses, though, he's too reliant on his length and athleticism. He plays a finesse style that won't fit with every club. He wins with quickness and agility, but he too often gets ragdolled once blockers latch on. Like I mentioned already, he was born in Nigeria. He didn't start playing football until he moved to the U.S. until high school. And it shows in his lack of awareness and nastiness, so he has a lot of experience and he's got to have a lot to learn still. He fails to take full advantage of his length and athleticism when he's unable to get to the QB. He only broke up 1 pass over his college career. He's too easily fooled by misdirection, can cut blocks. He's too easily tossed to the ground. Will require a medical check because the foot injury he suffered was a fractured left fibula, which was a game against Duke, which caused Julian to miss the final 4 games of his senior year. He has been listed as a player that could disappoint at the pros, so he has the potential to be a bust. For his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Samson Ebukam of the Los Angeles Rams. So, the medical history, the key for him to be successful is, of course, to stay healthy. And he's going to have a lot of expectations, since Romeo Okwara has been a solid contributor on the Lions' defense. So he's going to have a lot of expectations. Can he live up to his brother? Can he be as good as his brother Romeo? A lot of questions. But in order for him to have any chance of living up to Romeo's level, he's going to need to stay healthy. That's going to be the big key, of course. So, yeah. So, the next player we're going to go over here, we have hailing from Wisconsin, standing 6'2", weighing 230 pounds, we have Sac Bond. So, Sac, he's your prototype intangibles outside linebacker. So, overall, for his strengths, he's compact, he's country strong frame, has good weight distribution, he's a talented pass rusher, he's capable of beating tackles with his speed, his surprising power, and a varied arsenal of moves. Includes a spin, dip, and rip, a push-pull, and plenty of dekes and counters. He plays faster than he is likely to show on his stopwatch, so the tape may say something else than what the watch says. So he's impressive timing off the snap count to beat tackles off the ball. He shows some bend around the edge. He corners smoothly, flattening efficiently to close on the ball. Has good lateral agility on his dekes. Avoids blockers in space. His coordinating his upper and lower halves nicely. Physical tackler, brings his hips to eliminate yardage gain after contact. He's stronger than he looks too. He incorporates good knee bend and pad level to win the leverage battle. He was also a team captain for Wisconsin in 2019. So overall, he was a 2-year starter that bounced back from a season-ending foot injury in 2017. So he does have an injury history. We'll get into that later. He started 13 games in 2018. Finished third on the team in total tackles. In 2019, he had 12.5 sacks in 14 games. In his entire career with Wisconsin, Sac had a total of 154 tackles, 30 tackles for a loss, and 15 sacks. So for his weaknesses, though, Sac's a bit undersized to remain in the rush role, which he started as a senior for Wisconsin. He lacks both the ideal height and limb length to keep NFL blockers at bay, so he's a bit undersized. Lack of length shows up most in space when ball carriers are able to skirt past his limited strike zone, runs through his grasp. He's just average balance when he breaks down and face-up ball carriers. He plays with his blinders on. He locks into his target only to get beamed by misdirection screens, you name it. And of course, he has the long list of injuries, which NFL teams are certainly going to want to investigate for sure. Like, his injuries include in 2016, he missed time with a torn meniscus. 2017, the foot injury he had was a torn Lisfranc. Both injuries required surgery, so that is a big-time red flag. For his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Kamali Correa of the Tennessee Titans. So he has a lot of potential, but he's going to need to stay healthy. Like, are these injuries going to keep plaguing him for most of his career? That's going to be the big question. It'll be a big-time gamble to take him, but if it's high risk. But if he can stay healthy, the risk could be very well worth the reward. For sure. So the next player we have here, hailing out of Michigan, standing 6'2", weighing 238 pounds, we have Josh Lukey. So Josh, he's your prototype pass rushing outside linebacker, so he's very good at rushing the passer. So for Josh's strengths, he's a compact edge rusher, wins with burst agility, underrated strength at the point of attack. He possesses the requisite snap anticipation, hopefully I said that goddamn word right, an initial burst off the snap to cross the face of tackles. He generates explosiveness out of the two-point stance. Regardless of whether he's rushing from the left or the right side, he can still rush very well. He accelerates smoothly, can convert his speed to power to blow through the reach of pass blockers, outweigh him by 70 pounds or more. Has good lateral agility and balance to quickly counter back inside with some hand play. He's surprisingly effective bull rusher due to his long arms. Has proper pad level and good leg drive. Has good pull-down strength to rip down ball carriers nearby. He wasn't asked to drop into coverage, but he appeared capable in showing balance dropping back, as well as good change of direction and burst during workouts as a strong side backer at the Senior Bowl. So his stock really went up in the Senior Bowl. So overall, he's a 2-time All-Big Ten selection for Michigan. Has stellar individual showings as a senior. The two showings of note that he had with Michigan was, first one was his game against Illinois where he had 3 sacks. And there was also his game against Army where he had 8 total tackles. He only started 9 games the past 4 years, but he's earned a reputation as a solid edge player against polished blockers in the Big Ten. Some felt that he could have boosted his draft standing and could have become a first-rounder if he stayed with Michigan in another year and had a defined role. But a lot of the scouts have said they came away impressed with his versatility and his explosive lower half at the Senior Bowl. So the Senior Bowl is really where his stock could rise up. But he could have stayed one more year. But, oh well. For his weaknesses, though, he's a bit of a one-trick pony as an undersized and ill-refined pass rusher, but he's very good at the one trick he does. He relies on his burst to get tackles on their heels. He's too easily swallowed up when his speed isn't effective. He has just only average power and technique with his hands given his playing experience and caliber of coaching received, considering his coach was Jim Harbaugh throughout his entire college career. Once his tackles latch on, it's generally game over for Josh. Though he does show hustle to spin free and pursuit downfield. He does have some medical issues, which leads to why he only started 9 games the last 4 years. Part of these injuries included when in 2016 he missed some time with a torn meniscus. He also missed the fall camp in 2017 with a stress fracture in his foot. So he does come with some injury red flags too. For his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Kyle Pitts of the Arizona Cardinals. So he's a very effective pass rusher. Doesn't do much stuff in the run or in coverage. He just rushes the passer. So he's very good at that. But for him to still be effective at that, the big key is for him to stay healthy. But he'll definitely will still be on the draft board regardless. With since Matt Patricia and the coaching staff worked with him in the Senior Bowl. The question for Bob Quinn is Bob Quinn willing to take a gamble on him since he'll be on the board? Or will Bob Quinn play it safe? We'll have to see. It is going to be a bit of a high risk, but it could be high reward in the end. Someone definitely to keep an eye on. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Oregon, standing 6'3", weighing 225 pounds, we have Troy Dye. So Troy, he's the prototype run defense outside linebacker, so he's very good at stuff in the run. For his strengths, he's a rangy, athletic chase linebacker, has above average speed to the flanks, in coverage, and is more grit in the box than a safety-like frame may suggest. He's wiry, strong, he plays tougher than he looks due to his good knee bend and pad level to neutralize the leverage battle. Has quick hands that slap away to grasp of would-be blockers. He coordinates his punch with good lateral agility. Has ankle flexion. Is balanced to slip by opponents in tight quarters. Remains in position to make the tackle. He's a general reliable face-up tackler. Has the reach to lasso ball carriers seemingly out of his grasp. He's quick to attack the line of scrimmage. In the run game, he trusts his instincts, shows burst to and through the ball. He possesses the speed to beat backs to the edge and shows the requisite change of direction and awareness for coverage duties. He does not panic with the ball in the air. He shows both poise and good hand-eye coordination to slap it away or more. In his college career with Oregon, he had 14 passes defended and he had 5 interceptions. So he's a durable 4-year starter with some plus protection. He's also a personal high-energy player and was popular with his teammates and coaches. So overall, he was a constant on the Oregon defense. He helped turn the Oregon Ducks into a formidable group before he departed now for the NFL draft. So in 2019, he had 84 tackles. It was the lowest season total of his career. But he did lead Oregon in tackles the last 4 years. The last 2 years, he's been a second-team All-Pac-12 pick. He was viewed as a safety prospect coming out of high school, but he became a starter at Oregon as a true freshman for 9 games, and he never looked back as a linebacker. For weaknesses, though, he's built like a safety, occasionally tackles like one. He relies on his speed and length to catch ball carriers rather than punishing collisions. He's stouter than he looks, but he lacks the sand in his pants to hold up for 4 quarters against a power running attack. So conditioning could be a concern when you're facing a run-heavy team. He struggles to rip himself free from blockers once they make contact. He also needs to gain greater grip strength to pull down runners outside of his frame, too. He often sees his arm tackle attempts get ripped free. He's not the polished pass rusher his 13 career sacks at Oregon may suggest. He wins with elusiveness and a determination rather than a refined rush arsenal. In 2019, he did suffer a broken right thumb that caused him to miss only 1 game, but he did return for Oregon's Pac-12 championship game against Utah. But for that game, he had to wear a cast club over his right hand. So yeah, that injury, it was like a minor one. He was still able to play through it, but could that be a bit of a red flag and could be problems down the road? Could be something to keep an eye on for sure. For his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Corey Littleton of the now Las Vegas Raiders since he left the Rams in free agency. So yeah, definitely has a lot of potential as a run stuffer. Pass rusher, that's questionable, and, the injury. Could that be a problem? Definitely someone that should be kept an eye on for sure, though. Could be a gamble, but hey, could pay out in the end. We'll have to see. And the final outside linebacker, the final linebacker overall, the final player we're going to go over in this video, we have hailing out of Penn State, standing 6'3", weighing 233 pounds, we have Cam Brown. So Cam Brown, he's your prototype tackling outside linebacker, so he's very good at tackling the ball carrier. So for his strengths, he's able to slide down over the nickel, shuts receivers down before they can get off the line. He mauls smaller guys as they try to get past him in coverage. His length stands out immediately, helps his game a lot overall. His frame has room for more weight if necessary. He moves around good for Penn State. He had experience seeing the field from a variety of angles. He flashes some screen-killing ability. He was praised for his work ethic, his dedication, and his leadership by Penn State coaches and players. So overall at Penn State, he played in 51 games total for Penn State. He left with over 200 career tackles. And of course, like I just mentioned, had the deep praise from teammates and coaches for natural leadership and ability. He's the cousin of former NFL wide receiver Andre Davis. Cam Brown, he was a top 15 outside linebacker coming out of high school. He started 2 games as a freshman. He was a reserve as a sophomore before he became a full-time starter in 2018. In 2019, Cam was a third-team All-Big Ten pick for, the Big Ten. For weaknesses, though, he's strained being built atypical of an NFL linebacker. He's awkward in space, but he's prone to loss of the balance and stumbles when trying to change direction. He's not precise with his positioning in coverage. He's easily knocked out of the way by physical runners. His inability to finish as a tackler makes him a liability in the run game, so he has issues in the run there. So he has to dive for the lower half and try to take out ankles instead of leaning cleanly. He has poor form as a tackler. He's a tick late to diagnose things and get going where he needs to. He's a modest bender. He's too weak to match up one-on-one against offensive tackles, and not be pushed around. He fails to implement his long arms as a pass rusher or block shutter. He has to go around blockers laddered and work through them. Has straight line speed, but it won't bail him out when he takes a poor angle. For his NFL comparison, he's been compared to free agent linebacker Lonnie Fua. So, it's a big-time gamble with him. There's a lot of question marks with him. How can he do? I think it just doesn't look like he fits the scheme here. For Cam Brown, even though he has a lot of talent and a lot of potential, I don't think he fits in this scheme well. I'm going to say pass on him. But yeah, anyway, that's going to wrap it up here for this draft preview. So we covered the linebackers. We're going to go over the linebacking core one more time when we get to the Day 3 preview, since Day 3, the rounds 4 through 7 are going to be for depth and all that. So yeah, before the Day 3 preview, before we get to the Day 3 draft previews, we still got one more Day 2 draft preview to go. Of course, that will be out on Fridays as normal with the whole draft preview schedule I have. So yeah, anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this draft preview. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Hope everyone learned something for their mock drafts, of course. So yeah, of course, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash the like button. If you're brand new to the channel, please subscribe for more content and to tap that bell for more notifications. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up here. I've been C-Rad from C-RadTV. That's all I got to say. Hope everyone's a great day, and yeah, peace out.